All right. Hello, hello, hello. Oops. All right. Let's start this Friday morning, September 8th. All right. It's looking a little bit better now than when I started the machine up today. When I started up, basically almost everything minus, I think it was dollar CAD and pound yen. We're at like single digits. We still got a lot minus 3, 8, 12, nothing, 22, nothing, 25, nothing, 18, nothing, even the 35, nothing. Um, Now, CAD came in exactly how we expected. We weren't talking not so much the employment change number. Again, it is much higher than expected, but it was this one right here. There was the forecast that it was going to be a 5.6, and I said, based off the data, I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't show. That would come in as kind of a more of a strong CAD based trade. Or a CAD positive based trade, and that's exactly what happened. They were a little bit overly negative, so again, this came in as a CAD strength type move. So, not really surprised by this one. I That's kind of what my forecast was yesterday. If you listened, was a 5.5. So we'll see. Besides that, we're like done for the day as far as other news releases. I can click this, and we're like, oh, what else we got? Barr speaking at 9, right? We got that information already out. You can see over here, right? The Fed's role, the Fed Reserve's role is supporting responsible innovation, right? The Fed will only proceed with a digital currency with clear support from executive branch and legislature from Congress. Does not comment on monetary policy, economic outlook, doesn't do anything else. So he made a comment about digital currency, which here's the thing, right? It says the Fed will only proceed with it. It's coming one way or the other. It doesn't matter if there's Fed approval or not Fed approval. Um, and we said this before. This kind of goes back to whether the U.S. is going to lead or follow. China already has a digital currency policy. They have already implemented the policy. The world is looking at China, and it's hard to talk about the dollar as leading, as being the world reserve currency. And people are like, it's never going to happen. I'll tell you right now, when the rest of the world is digital and we're playing catch up, we won't be the reserve. It's as simple as that, and then we're in major trouble. So it's funny that he's like, "Well, only proceed with it." Well, if they don't, I mean, you're just basically handing, basically putting the death to the U.S. dollar is really what it's working back to. Again, it's funny. We talk about innovation, right? We support responsible innovation. Again, the technology is there. It's being used. People know how to use it. So again, it's just people signing off on it. And again, remember when again, we don't hear her name anymore. Bernard. They came in. Biden put her up there, and it's like she's going to be the next Fed president. Rah, rah, rah. And she was the digital currency slash crypto, like that entire world. That was her baby. She was considered the driving force of that, and we haven't heard peep from her in months. Um, Again, maybe it's I don't know. I mean, right now I know there was a poll that came out last week. Basically across the board, Biden's ratings were not good. Economy wise, not good. And again, the forecast going forward, not looking good. A lot of questions coming up, but yeah, particularly on the economy. I mean, I don't think we're really in a bad space economy wise. I mean, we came out of COVID. There's still some inflation. Yeah. I mean, the markets have not crashed. 401ks have not been cut in half. You know, we got tons of job openings, which is not bad. And we're filling them, and we're seeing people get paid more. But the ratings for the economy are pretty dismal. Pretty dismal. So, yeah, and again, she was one of those appointments that, again, is she done? Is she out? I mean, who knows? But it's crazy that Barr is mentioning the responsible innovation. It's like, hey, listen, our closest competitor that wants to put their knee on our throat, they've already got a policy. They're already testing, and we're not even there on any type of you know, yeah, out of that bit. So we'll see. But that's it. I mean, there's really no news. Consumer credit is that going to move the markets? Nope. Nope. Maybe put a spin on the end of the day. Final wholesale inventories, not really. And then bars already spoke. So there's not a whole lot of driving factors out there. I mean, the Chinese data tonight, but the market's closed. There's nothing going on at 9:30 p.m. at night. So yeah. As far as the VIX goes, so the VIX, again, yesterday we had that spike, and then it immediately pushed back down. Not immediately, but we fought it for a couple hours, and then it dropped, pretty quickly. It's pushing back down. It's not as high as it was yesterday, with no news going into the weekend, and there was all kinds of fear yesterday, right? All the fear was like, oh my god, look at that data, right? Oh my god, people aren't filing for unemployment; they're going to raise interest rates. Again, not the side of the labor market that the Fed was really looking at. Um, and it kind of dissipated, and the fear of that went away, and now we're pushing down. And for the most part today, minus the Russell, everything's pretty deeply in the green. Like NQ's up there at 1.7, ES is at 1.3. They're looking good. I mean, this should continue to deteriorate today with lack of any major news. There's no holiday or anything like this weekend, so no major surprises. So it should continue to push back down. Um, so yeah, I mean it's okay. As far as what the dollar's doing, the dollar, we're still in that same area. We are below 105. You can see yesterday morning, we had peaked and punched right through to 105.50. We came back, and it's funny. We talk about this, and we don't really, there's not a, just like there's no warehouse. I mean, there are ways that trade the Dixie, but it's not really like a direct tradable type thing, right? Um, it's funny that you see like tops like this. You're like, oh, look at that. A base came back and touched, and magically it used that same level. It's funny how that works out. But we are below 105 right now. And for the most part, we're just stabilizing inside. I mean, I'll extend this across. You can see, look how many candles. I mean, and again, it reacts off of that, and then bases in there, and then comes, peeks its head out, punches through, comes up and punches back in, and it's using it as home base. So we're kind of at home base right now. Um, as far as, where it's kind of bouncing off of. Um, again, little Harry Potter effect over here, but question is, are we going to get any news today that's really going to derail this one way or the other? And I say, not really. I mean, as far as areas that go, I mean, I think this level down here, and again, we'll highlight this yellow and black just so it's easier to kind of see. The 104.50-ish mark, again, it kind of almost looks like a Harry Potter trade. A whole bunch of green straight up in the air. There's basing here, pushed it deep, pushed it again, pushed it again, comes down and starts basing. I mean, that's the right area. I mean, this is where you would tend to see these things kind of turn and roll. So right now we're kind of smack in the middle of the range, right? Is there strong buyers down here? Maybe a little bit, right? That's 104.80-ish range. Maybe there's a little bit of a 1030 reversal, but are we going to be able to smash through this and smash through this? I don't think so. Not with the news we have today. I mean, unless Powell just magically goes on and does an emergency broadcast and says something. Who knows, right? Who knows? But right now, I mean, we're kind of smashed in. We're sitting in home base right now. Maybe we get a little bit of a grind, but the dollar's not really giving us much here. The indices, for the most part, I mean, again, seeing the dollar down since about 8 o'clock this morning, that tends to be good. If the dollar is down, that tends to mean that the markets overall, tend to move higher. So I mean, they're up where they are. Is it going to be a record day? I doubt it. Again, there's not a lot of news, but I think a lot of the fear is kind of dissipating of, um, with the, you know, as it pulls away, it's like, is that a bad thing? Right? Is it bad that the dollar's coming back down? Not really. I mean, we are so far above the historical. I mean, historically, we were 95 to 90, or 93 to 98. We're at like 105 right now, so it's so high. Um, so yeah, I don't, the dollar's not giving us much. Indices overall, and again, Russell, again, it's below that. Yeah, it's playing with that 1850 mark. We'll see if it's able to, start finding some buyers coming in there now. Dollar being down, we tend to see the flip. We tend to see the commodities being up then, and we are. Um, Thankfully, I mean, oil is kind of almost flat. 86, 88. Again, it's not at the 88 number that we could have been. I'm hoping that we hold below this 87 mark. It'd be nice if today was a bad day for oil. Again, it just turned a little bit red now. It'd be great if we get below 86. If we can be in like the 85.50 or 85 flat, remember it will, again, that market does close a little bit earlier than the other markets. And then it kind of flatlines. I'm kind of hoping that one, again, I'd love to get below 86. Like start pulling back again, right? Um, Again, I think oil, as I said yesterday, with that 9:30 data tonight, hopefully, not hopefully, but I'm expecting that there's going to be a gap in oil based off of that. Because again, right now, all the cuts in oil are basically the first thing they say is, well, China. It's like my kids, right? If I ask Asher why something happened, he's like, well, Reese. It just you blame the other one. So right now, anything with oil that's going to be like, but China. That's I think that's you know kind of what we're looking at right now. All right. So that's that. Natural gas also up 1.47. Again, some of that may be heat related still. Again, we still have, I think we're under another code orange today. It's 81 right now. When it's 81, I mean, it did rain last night, which was great, except that I had one of the windows cracked in the truck. I don't know if it's going to give me the forecast for today. Yeah, we're at 81 degrees right now at 9:45 in the morning, and the humidity is at 85%. So if you guys have never been in high humidity, I know some of you West Coasters like, oh, but it's a it's a dry heat, right? Well, I'll tell you right now, 85% humidity is like, when you take a really, really hot shower and you're in there too long and like the window, or like the mirror in your bathroom is all fogged up. And like you get out and you're like, wow. Right. And then you like open you leave the bathroom and you're like, oh my God, it was like instantly cooler. Right. And you walk back in, you're like, man, it's like a new level of like hot in here. That's what 85% humidity is like. So, humidity is a weird thing, the way that it matches, but when you're in the mid 80s to low 90s and 85% humidity, so you sweat, but you can't evaporate the sweat, sucks. So I kind of understand the natural gas thing being high. If people are like, you know what? I thought I was done with the air conditioner, but I'm turning it back on. So I kind of get that one. Gold and silver, both pretty flat. Gold up 0.15, silver literally flat 0.00 right now, holding at 1922, and then right below 23, kind of where it was yesterday. Not really moving much. And again, there's no real data today that was really kind of showing that it could move. So is what it is. All right, let's go down to Aussie dollar. So Aussie dollar, do we have a lot of movement? Not really. I mean, yesterday, what's 24 hours? We're talking about 8 pips here, right? 8 pips, and it's been declining in the last 60 minutes. And again, that's U.S. based data. We did have a little pop at 2 o'clock this morning. We were still looking for this 64.25. Again, great zone. We love it. It hasn't gotten there yet. So, yesterday we were sitting here, and then again, it looks like by 10 o'clock we had pushed down. Well, it's trying to get back down there. So we haven't really left the area. Is there anything in here long that I'd like? Not really. No, I mean, again, U.S. session, you tend to see more dollar strength come in. Aussie is obviously closed. I would expect this to kind of pull back down again. Now, you may look at this and say, well, this yellow line, are we buying it here? I think it's really sketchy. I mean, we've pushed it to the brink here. And again, decent trade. Another one here, another one here, another one here, another one here. And it's not piercing very far. I don't think it's a hard buy by any means because it's hit so many times. But could it be an area where you bounce off of like on a Sunday night? Maybe. Maybe if we're able to gap down there. I mean, it's not going to require, I mean, it's requiring 26 pips, right? The 4 hour ATR on this one is 26, or it is 23. Oh, by the way, I got a message yesterday from Ryan as well. And another student asked for it. This is not my indicator. There's one of the students actually in Discord that created it, and he posted a link in there. If you guys search, I didn't have time yesterday to look for it. He posted a link and asked if anybody else wanted it. So it's in there. I don't think I can give you access to it. I think it's in like the marketplace and the ads. It doesn't cost anything. But if you were trying to get that, it is actually a student that created it. It was not, I didn't program it. He created it and asked me to test it and said any of the other students, if they wanted it, they could have access to it. So, I would, if you can search in there, it's probably the easiest way to do it. If not, maybe I should have some time later on this afternoon. I can try to see if I can find it. You can search for it, right? You can search for it over here. ATR table, multi-time frame forex, right? You see how it blinks right there? So that's what it's called if you want to search for it and then try to add it. I think it would go into the, I forget which one it is. I don't think it shows. Um, no. I think if you search it in here, right, that's where you can find it. But I'll see if I can find the link to it later on today. But right now, we really kind of need us to go one of the two directions. I think for Sunday, if we come down here and you were kind of ending down here, there could be potentially a kind of a roll off of it. Is it a strong buy? No, it's not. But it's a level that's not horrible. Like I said, it's kind of been supported and kind of tested a few times, but has been unable to pierce very deeply. So not the worst of trades. But as far as what we do with it right now, nothing. I mean, we're buyers right now. It's got to chop through that. Look at all the chopping in here. You could say it's kind of channeling down based off of here. I mean, we could take this and move it and say it's kind of channeling. But at the same time, we got buyers in here. There's a red, green, red right there. You can see that they're supported. So not a very strong kind of emphasis either way. Aussie yen. All right, so Aussie yen. You can see we came back up and we finally broke through, which is actually good. So we hit it again, and the same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is hit number 5, and we're supporting, and it's trying to punch through. I think for the same thing. I mean, this trade obviously over. Again, it's been used multiple times at this point. We highlighted it yesterday. Yesterday, again, actually late last night, it looks like we came down and grabbed the other side. We talked about 93.68. It did not break through the other side. Yeah, here was 10:30 yesterday. We missed it. So it did come down. So there's a trade on both sides. Actually, I didn't see this one. I did not have this one in. basically there, because put it there. It should. There you go. Yeah, 1 and 3 is right there. So, and it kind of came up right where it should have. So it's out on both sides. We can remove it right now. Use it just to kind of keep it marked off, but it's not going to be a buy next time because it did push it to the very, very brink over here. Right now, I would say that the best thing we have up here is probably a sell over here. We're kind of sitting right in the middle, right at that 61.8 level. We've smashed it here, here. I mean, here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you can see it built buyers and smashed it. Is it time to go short? No. If it does rally up a little bit, I mean, there could be a case made that, hey, listen, there's an aggressive short right there. Maybe, I mean, maybe for like a Sunday night gap if you're looking for this one, but it's quite aggressive to put it in there. Again, 94.51 ish. There was a headline here 8 hours ago. Japan won't rule out any options as US dollar approaches to 150. Right? Remember when 130, 135 was like the end of the world? Now we're like getting up to 150. It approaches 150. We're gonna, yeah, we won't rule out any option. Basically, he talks about interventions. And when they say things like this, it's kind of like, are they saying that? Are they, you know, firing the warning shots? Right? Are they putting the warning shots out there? Could be. And Japan does that kind of stuff. So maybe Sunday, if anything, I'd wait for those two to rally up again. There is a small zone in there. I mean, if you do want to run something more intraday or look for something over the weekend, you can see there's a strong rally at basing here and a strong rally off again. Using a fib that kind of helps find it. We'll use this one right here. Oops. I was like, why is it not doing it? That level looks like that, about 7.25 pips, right? 7.2. Again, 50% retracement level. We have a decent room to run from then till now, or from now till then. It's about 29 pips. Again, 4 hours worth of a move. But at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, is that the time to get long the Aussie yen? Not really. So, kind of right now, it's I think the big thing we're looking for is where's the Sunday night jump? Right there, right, and kind of see where we are at that time, right? So, all right. Um, Yeah, I think really right now, I mean, there's nothing. I'm not interested. I mean, I guess we could suddenly shoot up maybe at 12, but anything after 12 o'clock touching that zone, I think it's too risky. Um, one sec. Um, shall paint down. All right. Yeah, so that's all we got for that. Euro dollar. All right, so euro dollar. We talked about a big area down here. We marked it off yesterday. We were sitting approximately here. We came down and touched it, and we really haven't left the area. We're still kind of smashed in here. We're like, if we can get back up again, we'll take one more shot off this one, and we didn't. I mean, the euro dollar right now is 30 pips up, only because we were down, but you know, pretty soon it's going to be shooting back up again. As we get to this 1 o'clock. So if we're running into sellers right now, is the problem. Right? There's the sellers right now. If we have a 1030, and again, if we have any type of reversal in this one, we'll come back down again and we're going to lose everything. But we knew 107 was going to be a big deal, and that's what was hitting 8:30 this morning. Let's just say there's a double fruit fly. I need to kill the double. We still have fruit flies. We've killed, I can't even tell you how many fruit flies. But unfortunately, having two little kids, Jen had a banana peel that was left, or a piece of a banana peel that was left. Kip had, I forget what it was. He had like a juice box that got smashed under Melissa's desk, and we found that that was a hot spot for fruit flies. They were sneaking in the little hole in the top. I'm like, thanks, Kip. Um, so yeah, almost gone. But when you see the double, you're like, oh yeah, gotta find that double. All right. So yeah, I think right now, I think waiting for this one to come up to 107.40 ish, maybe potentially. Again, if we rally straight up today, again, this is another one of those trades. Even getting in around noon, 1 o'clock, there still should be enough movement in this one. Um, Not a ton of news this afternoon, but again, there's enough with once the European market is closed and the U.S. market can dictate things, there can be some movement. But I'm assuming that we'll run into some selling in here and probably turn and flip. Again, this area here, not really a buy or short at this point because it's kind of pushed through. But I'll draw this level. This could be potentially be used for a Sunday. Oops. It could potentially be used for a Sunday, but ideally, I really like the 107.72. So right now, I mean, these are kind of the two levels that I'm looking at, and we're kind of sitting in the middle. I kind of want it to go up or down and hit either of those two. And again, this is one of those ones that we're looking for that Sunday pop. Really, kind of right there is where we'd like this one to kind of be here or here, or be close. I mean, we can be here and then, or the gap up into it, or gap down and then use it. I think either of those two is a decent weekend trade. So yeah, it's all right. Euro pound. We were really hoping this one would come up, and we said, "Hey, this is probably a Sunday night trade." You can see it's done nothing. We were sitting here yesterday. What is it in 24 hours? It's -1, so it's literally done nothing, right? It's chopped back and forth. Again, it looks like it's really exciting. This is 11 pips, right? This is actually looks more like this. It's 11 pips, top to bottom, right? Peak to trough. So, yeah. Um, there you go. Look at this. And I'm just extending it from what we did yesterday morning. So, yeah, this one's kind of the same thing. Not actually. I'm kind of surprised we didn't go a little bit higher. I was expecting a little bit more pound weakness, or I'm sorry, a little bit more. A little bit like the pound kind of just leveled out. I was looking for it to switch on Friday, and it looks like it switched on Thursday is when the switch got turned off. So there, I mean, this one's kind of same thing. You could draw right around the 61.8. So small zone at the 61.8. I'm not in love with it. Actually, let's bring it down here. It's more of a 70. It's probably more of the 78.6. That's an okay hit, but it's probably some buyers in there. But here's kind of my top and bottom for this one right now. Right. And again, we're going down the middle. And again, what are you going to do? 2 pips in 24 hours. Right. Peak of the trial, 12. So not a lot you can do with that one, guys. You can't force it. Can't force it. I do like it obviously higher first. I'd like to see some pound strength. We had so much, pound weakness all week, and now it's the switch is trying to change, but I'd like to see this do a little bit more. Do a little bit more. Euro yen. So euro yen, 4:30 this morning. We ended up hitting that level, right? I don't know if it made it all the way. It would have been pretty close. I had the alert go off on me on that one. There's 2.91. There's 3.03. So it did. It did actually trigger. At 10 for 30, we marked it off yesterday talking about this level at the 50%. So it looks like it drove right in there at 4 o'clock. At 4:30, it left, and by 6 o'clock, or actually, yeah, by 6 o'clock, we had pulled back all the way down and got that one out. So again, an easier trade setup. Again, you got to love these when they're sitting in the middle. A lot of people will, some people love the 23s. And if you hit the 23, I guess again, it hit there multiple times. So I don't know which one you would have done. And you can see, late last night, this thing took a shot all the way down and then came all the way back up again. So I guess if you did the 23 and didn't get stopped out, you were super excited about that one. But then it's just a quick hit down. And again, that's because of the yen. And then, it cycled back up again. So easy trade on this one. We're waiting for this one to get back up top. Again, strong rally right now. A lot of this is probably more yen based than anything else. Let's clean this one up for next week. I'm going to adjust this to there. Here's one potential sticking area, right? I'm gonna put this one there. Uh, It's like that guy that like tests all the MRAs. He's like, nice. Um, guy, guy cracks me up. Here's an MRA from 1970. A little chalky, but you know, this hot chocolate, nice. This orange seed drink, nice. Guy's crazy. I'm shocked that he hasn't, died of sampling, soldier MREs. I know they're good for like 30 years, but this one's like, this looks, this is just powder. It's got a 100-year shelf life. He's like, this orange drink is good. It's my favorite. Nice. I'm like, it's older than me. You're drinking something that, you know, potentially could have went to Vietnam. um, yeah, sorry. 158.61, 158.88. I think are the two levels we're looking for this one to reverse. And again, remember they just made a comment about no option is off the table, right? Could that mean could that mean that there's potential for an intervention? Could be, could be. So yeah, I think both those are good. As far as taking them today, yes, it is pushing up rather fast. I'd be very. I don't think there's enough time for us to go all the way up and grab that and then come all the way back down again. It's about another 35 pips. That's technically the 4-hour ATR. And again, at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, not necessarily as interested. It is a proxy, so the yen will have some play in this one. But right now, again, just shows you that even though we're up big today, again, you get this little reversal back down again, snag 30 on the way back again. Again, super technical, technically traded market, but easy 30 for the morning. Pound dollar. Again, we were looking for the pop and we wanted to push higher. We kind of got it. It was pretty sloppy. We were looking for it to push even farther down, and we're like, oh, come on, find this thing and push. It just did it so sloppily and just ground through. It's a shame. It did push up. I mean, it did do this, right? It did it here, but it was pretty sloppy, right? It was pretty sloppy. It came down, went back up, came down again, and then went higher. It did it there, but really sloppy, right? And it ran right into the 23.6. We knew we were going to have problems with the 23.6 area, and it did. It hit it, pushed back down, went to where all the confirmed buyers were, and then punched higher. So, eh, it's one of those things. It's like, you know, not great, right? Not necessarily great. All right. Right now, if you look at this high, there's not a whole lot stopping this one. Um, a little hiccup here. This room's gonna have to run. Uh, about 50 pips. It's not horrible. It's a cleaner test there. I'm wondering. If we shrink this down a little bit. How many is that? It's 13. Or if we look at taking something like this, right? And again, we had so much pound weakness. We were hoping that it rolled in next week, as I mentioned. But it looks like it's trying to do it today. It's trying to start a little bit early, right? Trying to get that happy hour on early. We can push back and pull. It may not be the worst. Not a horrible trade. Not a horrible trade. Again, 13 for 41. Again, if it punches up and pulls back down again, maybe around 12, we may have room for this one. Right. If not, again, could be a Sunday night trade. But it again spent a lot of time there. It became the 23 right here, and you can see boom, boom. It never even went back to the origin of the move. So it's there. Right. I think that's important, as well as I think watch out for that 125.80. Right. That's a 50% retracement level. It has hit it a few times, but if you are going to go long, make sure you're getting profit. I actually think it'll have a little hard time here at 67, right here where this kind of new piece is. Right. The level of basing here. I know it's hard to see, but this level of basing here that got touched, this spot. So, yeah. bottom too. I'm not actually a fan of this bottom. When we hit it, we drove it deep again, and then kind of almost pushed it again. Uh, yeah, not a fan of the bottom here. I was trying to figure out if there's a way, like if I like this for a bounce on Sunday, and I'm not really super thrilled about that one. I'd kind of like to see dollar weakness continue, and I do think we get dollar weakness next week. I'm curious to see how far up we can run on it. Um, to push into the runner's range. So it's there. Is there a trade right now? Unfortunately, no. I mean, it's just you can see it's very very much sideways. It's at 50, which is decent, but that's only because when we go back, we're kind of at the low. Price by 12 o'clock, price popped and puts us 10 pips or 20 pips from where we are. So unless we can maintain this upward pressure, that 50 pips is about to dissipate rather quickly. We're going to see it get eaten up real fast. So you know doesn't look bad at 50, but by 11:30 in an hour from now, here's where that the 11:30 peak, um, 18 pips away. So it looks like it's getting ready to get eaten up really really fast. Because 10 o'clock was really kind of the low of yesterday morning, right? Um, in the next 30 minutes, by 10, actually the close at 10:30 was already higher. And you can see it's pushing up. So we'll see if we can maintain this pressure. Um, Honestly, in this one, I like this one to run a decent way up. I think if we move these 80 pips up next week, there's probably a decent trade in here. We did talk about pound strength coming back in, so it makes sense. And we're seeing a little dollar weakness today. I think we roll into next week dollar weakness and pound strength stays strong. So ideally, if we can get a decent pullback to maybe one of the levels, maybe here we'll see what's formed. Maybe we take a long Sunday night before we roll into the U.S. session. Okay, this is one of those ones you're gonna have to digest over the weekend and kind of see what happened. And again, it could be a 3 a.m. long, right? Pound strength rolling in, dollar weakness rolling in, as that one goes. All right, so we ended up getting the kickbacks on this one. We were looking for the push, and it went. Unfortunately, it started to deteriorate. Last night, it drove all the way through. Now, we got the punches. We were really looking for it to go up a little bit earlier and punch down. You can see we did get that big drive down and blew through our target. So unfortunately, we didn't get the entry that we were looking for. We were looking for that entry. We didn't get it before it drove through, and unfortunately, it left without us. I was hoping that this spike here. Actually, I was hoping we'd have a spike in here somewhere around 4 or 5 o'clock to get in. I figured after the U.S. market open, we removed the yen proxy. I figured that would give us the ability to kind of turn, right? Because it would remove the U.S. from the equation. And we did get the big burst down, right? It didn't quite get up to where the entry needed to be. And then we hit it, we based, and once we started basting, like, oh, we're in trouble. Hit it again, base lower, and then we punched and we're grabbing it and going to the top side. So unfortunately, not much you can do with that one. The move actually happened. It left without us, unfortunately. Now we do have some room to run on this one, and we may see this on both cases. Pound dollar was kind of pushing up to where they're sellers right now. Pen yen's doing the same thing. We know that there's a level sitting right here. It is wedged between the 50 and 61.8, so people will be looking at it. There is a small zone of the 61, but I think this is a little bit cleaner. We'll see. Again, we're getting to that 10:30 reversal time frame. If it pushes up, the pound's got about 2 hours to go. Um, no, thank you. You'll have this. My phone just like gave me this weird alert. It's like, hey, there's things on your plan. We recommend a new plan for you because you're under an old plan. It's more expensive than the current ones. And there's one plan perk available, right? I click the plan perk, and it's like, hey, 6 months of Apple Music on us, and then $11 a month afterwards. I'm like, I don't want Apple Music. I want nothing to do with that. It's like, how do I exclude myself ever from getting an Apple Music, perk? Like, I don't even want to accidentally like, hey, we gave it to you for free. No, I don't want it. Just no, not interested. Never, never. Don't ever ask me again. If I want it, I'll ask you. So I think a potential reversal level. This one is 184.63. Again, because the pound's ending later on today, there will be the proxy with the yen. Maybe we get it, but at this point, I just don't know if there's going to be enough meat on this one for today. I think it'll be more of a next week. And the reality is next week, unless there's an intervention, which you're not going to be able to prepare for, I do think this one has the ability to start grinding up and eating some of these levels up again. Because again, the pound just got absolutely slaughtered this week, so it's coming back. Friday. I was hoping it would be Sunday night, but yeah, went a little bit early. But I do like the 185.63 level. I think that's pretty decent. Again, lot of congestion up at the 180, 85 and a half to 86 mark. So again, we need to get on the upper end of the curve, not this lower section. Dollar CAD cycling back again. And again, part of this is crude oil going higher again. And again, we're seeing dollar weakness. We were pushing forward, and yesterday we were sitting here, right? And we're like, hey, listen, there's probably a top in here. We mentioned, like, get the pattern, right? Get the confirmation pattern that we're short. It's a big level. We're not taking the whole level, and we ended up getting it. You can see right up here, right? There's your top, boom, and then it came back up and used that top, and then kind of pushed lower. Now, was it super clean? No, but we were looking for a top to be put in, and once you had this kind of push and it went down again, a little risky because there were buyers, and it took some time. Maybe use this one for the drop, but we called about getting short. It was just finding a good zone was going to be hard. We had to find that level of risk, and that zone didn't really even come in till 12:30, 1 o'clock, and even then, it wasn't really the best of zones. Based off how the candles printed, not the ideal kind of setup. The end result was the same. It pulled back down, and we're going to find buyers down here in this 136 area. So we have buyers down there. They've been hit. They've used it, right? There's this level of basing, and actually, I guess I'm sorry, it's this level right here. We're kind of bouncing off of it right now. And the question is, again, we've pushed, we've stabilized, we've went higher. It hasn't really touched where that last group of buyers is. It's kind of sitting right there. So it's got to break through it. Being 10:30, obviously the dollar from the overnight, the European market opened the 3 o'clock window is right there, right? You can see a little bit of a push and then nothing but straight down. So could this be a reversal point? I think it is. Is it a great one? Not really. It kind of pushed it pretty deep. If anything, I like the 50% level better, but I like the racetrack below this one. So I kind of like this one. So we have this racetrack we talked about before. Actually, I guess we can run this a little bit higher now. You can kind of see it. There's a level here, but we got a big push, right? There's a 61 in there, but there's absolutely nothing there. The 50 kind of at a level, but I don't think that holds too much. This is one of those ones. It's got some room to run. It's got to move about 40 something pips. It's got to go through that pullback. But if we start getting a basing in this level, if we start getting the basing in this level, that's what we're looking for the push to go to the downside. And this is, again, kind of going into the context. We're talking about dollar weakness next week. So that's kind of how it's setting up right now. And again, put the line on there if you want, just to see it a little bit easier. Something along those lines, right? Looking for that dollar weakness in the European session to kind of turn and push to the downside. So I'm okay with that one. As far as right now, again, big push down. Could we reverse off this? Maybe, but No, I don't need that. Nope, don't need that. Trying to do all kinds of stuff. My phone's trying to do everything. I'm like, don't mess with my 5G. So yeah, that's the setup I have there. If you want to settle it on a great wait to see, I think it's more of a wait to see how it resets. Could we see a possible reversal here? Yeah, we could. But is it something we're interested in taking? Not so much. We probably do have a little bit of dollar strength, profit taking coming in, but is that a great level? I love this candle, but I don't love the fact that the candle's a touch up this side. Dollar Swiss. All right. So dollar Swiss. We are pushing back, and we mentioned in an area here. Dollar Swiss, we were sitting right here. And we're like, yeah, we're probably at the top. And it's the same thing. We expected it to roll back down and the dollar weakness to come in. Did it give us a great candle? We talked about how this candle here, way too big, right? On a pair like this, having a zone that is 15 pips when that's the 4-hour ATR, not ideal. And it rolled back down again, but I'm not, again, it's taking a lot of risk. Now, this one does have an alert sitting there. There's another Harry Potter. And again, dollar weakness is the story. We're seeing it kind of pull back down again. There are going to be some buyers in here. And again, we kind of drew where the base was. There's where the bottom of the candles were. I may have moved that one by mistake, but you can see, because the reason I say that, that it's like, oh, it's right there. It's because when I go there, it boxes the bottom and then all three of those tops, right? And that's what we hit. So could there be a potential reverse from here? Yes. Is it a great trade? No. I would not be looking to magically go long here, even though it is close to 1030. It just pushed it too deep. The zone is very, very tiny. There's only a little tiny bit left on there. If we can get down here in base and start punching through before like 1 o'clock, then yeah, maybe we can still take this. This is only an 8 for 25. So it's not a gigantic trade or anything like that. This one may be one of those ones that pops in today. If anything, maybe we punch down below, and then Sunday night, if we kind of gap up into it or ride back into that zone, this one could be set up for a Harry Potter on Sunday night. But I do like this one. We talked about it being weak yesterday and turning. Just there wasn't a great candle. This risk level just didn't. It's just it's too big for this pair. On other things, 15 pips is fine. On a dollar Swiss, when a 4 hour movement at 17 pips, it's like, wow, is that a 4 hour zone? It's basically what that was on a 30-minute chart. It's just a little bit too big. It doesn't match up. A little too wide. And again, it's because the volume is not necessarily in this pair. So again, it's fine. Yeah. So funny. Last night again, the same spike down again. It looks like we have a decent top in there now. It got pretty close a little while ago. We can bring that up, and again, it's just slightly higher. This trade is out. You guys can see that one went through. Obviously, the 147 got sliced through last night. Kind of same thinking. We're sitting here high, right? We're sitting here high, and again, this one is also kind of set up to where you're looking at it and be like, is there going to be a yen intervention this weekend? I mean, it's there. I mean, but pulling back is better. It's funny. He talked about 150. 150 is all the way up here, but they're kind of forecasting what they see coming. So, I mean, the problem with this one has just been so much chop back and forth. I like this one down, but it just with this whipsaw down. God, it didn't even go to a good area. Um, 16. This is one of those cases. Look at this. Had you gotten into 23, right? Had you gotten long into 23, you were up like 25 pips. You're like, yeah, look at all that. I'm going all the way back up again. And then all of a sudden, you were up 25 pips, and then it was down 80 pips. It's how you lose accounts really quickly. I like this one short, but I don't have an entry for it just because, again, there definitely could have been a case. I do like this, the ascending candles in that one. I do love the shape of that green candle. I said that yesterday. It's my favorite shape. Um, love the fact that the red kind of pushed and gave us that little kind of sawtooth top on that one. It didn't hit it, unfortunately. Maybe your broker did. This is through FXCM, right? Yeah. I mean, I like it down, but I just don't. Right, Monday. Funny. It's very close now just because it's an hourly. I think watch this on Sunday night. 147.70 range. I don't know. Maybe we gap above. Maybe there's an intervention and it's all the way down here. But if we're floating in this area and we kind of push up to there, there actually could be a trade in that one in the overnight on Sunday. It's not. It's definitely been front run. So there's definitely sellers sitting in there basking behind that one. But it's all right. It's all right. This is one of those Sunday night plays too. Not interested in playing it today. Like I said, it's Friday. Friday with not a lot of movement and a lot of sideways action. How far has this one moved? Yeah, 20 pips in 24 hours. This one's starting to deteriorate now. Yeah, I mean, I like this one down. It's just I prefer it there if need be, or a little test and coming over here. Um, so yeah, unfortunately, nothing on that. Let's look at crude. Ugh. All right, so send that across. We talked about A760 yesterday. 10:30 yesterday morning. That was the reversal spot, and we marked it off. We said it was there. You know, nice push to the downside if anybody traded it again. Big level of risk that made it a little bit more difficult. It went down, and what did it do? It found the buyers. I mean, we knew the buyers were sitting there. We talked about 8602, right? Is where we were talking. Obviously, right here, all the testing from Wednesday. That's where it was, and that's exactly where it turned. Um, Went back up, found those same exact sellers, and tried to push back down again. So, unfortunately, this one's holding a little bit high. We said it yesterday. I'm actually okay with this one holding high today. I'd love for it to go lower, right? Being a consumer. Excuse me. Love for this one to go lower. With all the weirdness that we have coming out of Japan, making those weird statements, and obviously the data tonight for China with PPI and CPI. Um, Again, CPI expected to go lower, right? Um, Again, are they going to draw? Are they going to draw a demand and economy bit from this? Right? PPI down, but not as bad as it was. Right? Are they going to talk about, man, China's worse than we thought? Right? Ooh, the demand is bad in China. If so, that should send oil tumbling a little bit. Right? Right now, it's high because everybody did the cutbacks. But once there's some type of a fundamental confirmation that yes, China is having problems, that the demand is definitely going to be lower from China, that should help kind of relieve some of the heat. So I'm wondering if this is going to be more of a we get it. Hopefully, there's not a gigantic gap, but I feel like there is the potential in this one for a big gap. If not, holding up here at 86, I feel like again we should start seeing some relief in this one and push back down again. Again, a ton of sellers have been just smashing this level. Um, and again, you see it, four hits right here. But again, I think right now there's just, you know, the supply is there. The mentions have been coming out, but so far the market hasn't necessarily believed that that's the case, right? Supply cuts, supply cuts, supply cuts. But that date is out. Everybody knows it. We're the supply cuts are in till December, right? That ship has sailed. Um, Now we should start to see some reversal coming in. Natural gas, I mentioned that earlier. Obviously, again, you can see yesterday at 11:30 we did hit 260. We did pull back down again, but I'm actually surprised it didn't go a little bit lower than that. It came back down to 255. It's not a bad move. Again, it kind of pushed it deep before, and then once we started to form a base here, we came back up and we grabbed that base and started to form. It's like, yeah, it's going to break, and it hit it again, came back down, and then finally pushed higher. So the 260 was a small trade. It went about 1 to 2, and now we're pushing back up. Um, I think right now things to mark off is this is the kind of the gap we had on Friday into Monday, right? I think that's probably the next level of a decent reversal. And again, it was a little base in the overnight, and then boom, it pushed down. That's right at 269. Um, Downside, there is a little bit of a Harry Potter in this one. Although, again, I do think next week this is probably more of a sell. You can see that this week from Friday to Monday, it was. We mentioned it coming back down again. And then really Thursday morning, we had the most recent pop coming back up again. What is it saying? Energy sector advances pre-market. Yeah, it popped. Wait, what did it say? Oh, inventories rose less than expected last week. Yeah. Did it really? Thursday? Maybe it did a little bit. It came out here, but it was already moving. It was moving at 9:30. So it's funny. It came out on inventory. Inventory comes out at 10:30, but yet magically it started at 9:30 candle, 10 o'clock, and then 10:30 was over here. It already moved. Yeah, it was already here. It was already starting to move. Yeah, decent sells at 269. Again, if we open up there, probably not a bad. Again, had you swing traded this one last week, like we talked about, that wasn't bad till Thursday morning, right? You went from 270 down to 250, 20 cents in that one. That's a nice move. Nice move. Again, I wouldn't be surprised if we see the same thing next week. Gold is up a little bit, and again, we're spiking. Seems like the name of the game right now is dollar weakness coming in. So right now, we're still looking for a push down. This hasn't occurred yet, right? We have not seen this yet. I will say we are actually getting a little bit close, although I don't think it reaches it. I think this is probably the peak for the day, um, but we should have an alert there. Oh, it's not active. Let me activate it. It's fine. I would like to take one more hit off that level, 233.40. It was a decent top on that one. If we can push up there today, great. Remember, the gold market does close a little bit early. Again, that's more of a Sunday night kind of push to the downside. I still want to see where the base is forming down here. Again, downside, I want to see it hit 1914. I want to see where the base is and then push all the way down to 1906. So right now, I kept this one at 1933 and 1906 on the bottom. If you do get short in here, right now, if you're short, if you're trying to get short playing off this level, again, not really much over here to grab. Um, be cautious at 19, 20, 20, or 19, 20, 30, or 19, 20, 19, 21. Let's do 1921 flat. It's probably the safe spot. There'll be buyers stepping in, so a little bit of a hiccup. But yeah, we're looking for where this base is. I don't know. Here, here, here. It could be anywhere. I'm going to see where the base is to take this one short. Um, we'll see. Yeah. So the one thing too, I mentioned yesterday, I will mention again. I am talking about dollar weakness next week, as I don't think again. I think the raises are pretty much done, right? I think the raises are pretty much done, but may say, well, the dollar goes down, it means gold's going up. Not necessarily. The reason the dollar's not going up anymore is because we don't need to raise the interest rates because it's bringing inflation down. Gold is a hedge for inflation. I don't think inflation's going. I don't think we're going to continue to move unless China just completely just wrecks us, which we're not going to be able to prepare for. All right. Silver. Again, silver's going to play with 23 all day. We're at 23.11. You can see we came down. Yesterday, we talked about 22.88. We ended up seeing it at 8:30, right? We're talking about finding a base, and it looks like 8:30 this morning and 9 o'clock we hit it, and we jumped. It's the same thing. What is it? Quarter oil poised for weekly gain. Markets assess Fed rate outlook. Yeah. So not a bad little jump. Again, 22.88 is what we used. It went off of that one. It's pushing. I think it's going to have a hard time going much higher than this. Pull this back at 23.50. Had you got into this trade this morning? I don't think you're out right now. Again, this one you want to trail yourself to break even. No, not out yet, and it's got to go a little bit more, but it's fighting sellers right now. So maybe if anything, lock yourself in and profit at like I don't know 23, and just let it roll. Set yourself at a 1 to 1.5 and just let it roll. It's close, but it's fighting sellers. Look, all the selling in here. Look at this, right? All those sellers hit it, boom, and that's what we're playing with. We're playing with those sellers. So not a bad spot. Not a bad spot. So, again, that was one of the levels from yesterday. Let's see what we got with old Apple. Again, 175 was that bottom yesterday. Kind of pulled up. Apple's got some room to run, so Apple can be more positive today. Tesla also. Again, Tesla going to run into some selling action in there, right? So Tesla is got a little bit of room to run. Got another $3 worth of run, right? Let's see. Got some room to run. A friend of mine just bought a Tesla. Yeah, Chinese car sales hit record for August. Tesla delivers up. Deliveries up. Yeah. Eventually, I'm telling you right now, eventually, I will not be surprised. Like Elon cares about money. Like eventually, I think that right now the U.S. is. I don't know if you guys saw it. There was Huawei or however you say it, Huawei. The big Chinese cell phone person. Their new phone has a bunch of technology that the United States they shouldn't have chips that are able to do that. Companies we were supposed to block them out. Like companies were banned from giving or working with Huawei or whatever because they were worried about spying and everything else. Now they have a phone that there's Chinese created silicone. And they're like, wait, how do they have the technology to do that? It's like China can copy anything, guys. They buy one phone, they can copy it and do it themselves. The fact that you thought that you were going to be able to block them, great job. Tesla eventually, I think, will also get in trouble for doing so much in China. I think that's going to be Tesla's downfall eventually. So yeah, it's got some room to run to. Let's see what we got here. VIX wise, again, deteriorating exactly like we said. There's no news to drive it any other direction. ES, let's see what we got. Yeah, again, we had the contract rollover, so prices are obviously a little bit weird. 5 o'clock. Unfortunately, it was already too far up. It was already moving away. It already had its confirmation. It had its green, red, green was in right there. That came in at 8 o'clock, 8:30, 9:30, and again, we punched higher. So it's absolutely doing what it should have done today. There was not a setup at the open. And again, this is why I hate futures. I think it's the dumbest thing ever that they have to have these. I understand why they do, but I mean, you're not taking deliverables really of ES. So I get it. Derivatives market, totally get it, guys. I ace the section, being an advisor. Um, but I think this is the dumbest stuff ever. That's why I hate the futures market. I get it for like, again, there's not a deliverable. Nobody's backing a truck up, but like I get it. Of orange juice, jet fuel, oil, I get it because again, there's actually people that take those deliverables of things, but like things like ES, you're not taking. I mean, there's not a truckload of ES. They're not backing the truck up. It's like pork bellies. Yes, I could. Maybe I want a deliverable of pork bellies, right? I like pork, right? Like lean hogs. Yep. Yep. Ernest could probably take a delivery of lean hogs and use it all. Right. But this kind of stuff, I hate this stuff. It just messes up the charts. Anyway, I am full agreement. I do think this one should be higher today. Again, a weaker dollar. The data to me supports it. I think it makes complete sense. So again, the trade would have been down here, the red, green, red once the confirmation came in, letting it roll. I think that was fine. NQ. NQ had the same thing. This one was a little bit not as clean. The red, green, red came in right here. And again, it didn't even slow down with the overnight stuff at 2 o'clock in the morning, which it won't. Funny enough, you can see that that's where I was having some problems. I'd like a new top to be put on this one. There will be some profit taking because from 7:30 on, went straight up. NQ is the strongest. Makes complete sense. Totally agree with it. Again, it's funny. Look, Nasdaq rises as megacorps or mega caps again ahead of key inflation data. Yeah. Yeah, I think this is right. I mean, this is the right move for it today. Probably pulls back with some profit taking, but I'm pretty sure we end up in the green today unless something major comes out. YM, same thing. Red, green, red, close right there. Looks exactly the same. We had the kind of the top end up 3 o'clock in the morning. Absolutely. Drove it down in the U.S. session. And again, the new pattern started and was confirmed at 8:30 in the morning. So again, Europeans drove it down to get it cheap. U.S. market confirmed it right at 8:30 before the futures market opened, and then boom, took off. And again, 10:30 right now, we're seeing the 10:30 candle. You're starting to see reversals because people are taking profit. Exactly how it should be. Russell is the one little one that is a little outlier, is a little bit weird here, right? And it's funny. All these have the contract rollover. Russell does not. Russell does not have the gap. Russell is, it's weird. So we have the 3 o'clock pushing down into an area of buyers, and we hit it, we came back up and grabbed. And again, this is one of those things where, you have buyers here, you have sellers formed here, and it's literally just bouncing between the two. God, it's all over the place. Russell here, Russell almost looks like it wants to be a short today. So everything else will pull back a little bit with profit taking, but when Russell does it, Russell actually may end up in the red today, pull down a little bit. So yeah, interesting. And again, Russell more small business, more rate, associated, right? And again, economy not looking great. Russell will be hurt first, and again, there'll be some Chinese contagion tonight for it. But interesting, Russell's not. Again, typically you see the same thing with these three, and Russell's the outlier. And when everything else is crap, the Russell's good. But when everything else is good, the Russell's crap. Well, guess what? Everything else was very good today. All the patterns look really nice. Russell's kind of looks like crap. So again, opening print. Again, with contract rollovers, always get a little bit weird. Not a lot of data. Full agreement. Think these absolutely should all be in the green today. Again, they had very, very clean confirmation turns this morning. It is what it is. So, all right, with that, let's go ahead and do the drawing for today. We'll do it through. All right, I'll give it we'll go to 7:15. Right? That'll give 30 seconds. Again, I got to be fair across the board. Make sure we give 30 seconds from when we flip over. And again, it's funny that the timer doesn't count unless I'm actually on this page. I still have no idea why it does it that way, but it does, right? It does. Let's see here. 10 seconds. 10 seconds. Here we go. 4, 3, 2, 1. Bam, there we go. Nailed it. Nailed it. I didn't say anything. I did not say anything, right? I could have. It's funny. Yesterday, he had a 50% chance of winning. Today, there was just enough for 50% chance of winning. So he's playing that 50% card, but he takes it. And again, used 90 chips to make 10, but he's still down from yesterday. So he's still technically negative, right? Still technically negative, but Monday he goes for all three, right? So let's give him his 100. All right, let's give him his 100. So not 1,000. Oh my God, could you imagine? There, 100. So yeah, so he was plus 10 pip chips today, right? Again, he's playing the long game. He's got to sweep all three, right? Got to have luck on his side. All right, with that, you guys have absolutely an amazing weekend. Stay cool, stay warm wherever you're at. Stay dry, depending on where you are. If you guys got some weather coming in, up here you go. George Clooney selling his Lake Como estate for 107 million. It's a steal. It's a steal. Should get it now, right? Put them pip chips down and use that as a down payment. So with that, I'll catch you guys Monday morning, 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. Have a great weekend. Be safe, and I'll see you guys then. Take care.